Oh, greetings. This is a brief review thingy. I'm just getting over a hideous cold. Yes, production on Chimera has been in hiatus. We expect it to go up with some. We expect to be filming next Thursday, not today. I'm on the set. This is Kal Kat, and clearly you can tell my voice is all weird. Cold is much better than yesterday. I get one once a year, and it's about time. So last year I had one as well. You can tell about the same time, and and 2 weeks later I was off to Disneyland with Mark's cards. So it was fine after. So yeah. So here, we're not doing that again this year though. Disneyland will be next year. Anyway, so Star Trek Chimera will apparently also be beginning of next year. Well, late December, earlier. We might get an early trailer version kind of out, but yeah. Like Star Trek Discovery, which is not related to us at all, this fan film has been pulled back to December. There's just too much hiatus and stuff, so it's been pulled back to the holidays, and it's still considered the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Keep saying 40th. It's because it started with the 40th. It was 10 years ago. It would be cool if we released a trailer on December 7th or so, because then we could say, like, this trailer is literally 10 years after we put the Ryan footage, but that's not necessary. We have some Star Trek news, though, on the set of Star Trek Discovery that I can reveal to you. Apparently, the showrunner Brian Fuller has stepped down as the showrunner. Many of the Trek boards have lit up, including Trek Core and Trek Yards. Also, shout out to Trek Yards. I had subscribed to Trek Yards a full 6 months ago, and now I have added officially a subscription to Trek Yards to the Chimera website as well. So on this one as well, so I can go and look at your ship models. Anyway, and you did a thing just now on Brian Fuller, so this is mine. My take. I don't work for Paramount and CBS or anything. As I said on many of the other things, we're fans, and that although there was a writing contest in the 1990s, and we were almost considered. Once for DS9 with a script, and twice for Voyager. They reviewed that script twice, and once for Pocketbooks contest. Yeah, so fans. Yeah, I didn't actually get published as Star Trek Personal, though under my real name, I did publish a science fiction book, and those book series are coming out again in 2017. So there's other things going on, just not Star Trek related. My fan film has to be called Starship Chimera to avoid the copyright rules. Starship Chimera. It's a Star Trek parody. It uses Star Trek names. But yeah, it's with action figures, so we're good. Anyway, Fuller has stepped down as a showrunner of the show. And I suspect that even though they're saying it's about, like, oh, he had 2 other shows that he was working on, I suspect that's the cover story they're giving. Like some of the other fans, like Mr. Picard and C'est La Vie over there at Trekor. I'm Chimera over there on Trekor, Chimera. That I suspect that it's the LGBT issue. That's probably what it is. They're just kind of freaking out in the studio because some of them are conservative, which is stupid. They're probably freaking out. No, we just don't want to have an LGBT character as the second officer on the ship. We didn't want to do that. Now, it would be cool as if Fuller said, I quit, I'm not going to do it because of that. And he was like Moxie and stuff and say, okay, I'm not going to do it because you guys are why are you harping on that in 2016? So that's probably what's going on. It's probably, that'd be my guess, is they didn't want an LGBT first officer on the ship. Roddenberry had the same problem back in the day with Vulcan, the guy with the ears, Spock. So, yeah, so although they did sort of put that in an LGBT Sulu in Star Trek Beyond, they did that. Per our fan suggestions, yes. I don't think the fan stories necessarily got to them, though. I don't think the fan idea is that a prequel in 2255 is a good idea. I don't think, or not a good idea. I don't think that actually got to them because the fan stuff, they're probably not really paying attention to that. They're probably trying to do their own thing. And as I said on a lot of the other blogs, the premise of Star Trek being the premise of the Star Trek being a prequel ultimately hinders it because then you're stuck in an era like Axanar, for instance, which is a fan film series that got in trouble last year. This is something like that, and started the guidelines thing. Yeah, they softened those thanks to us fans, incidentally. Guidelines. Went back and said, no, you can't say some of this stuff. Don't do that. And then they got to J.J. Abrams, who said, yeah, we'll cut back on that. Yeah, that was a little unfair. So, yeah, some of that fan guideline stuff is lifted a little bit, which is cool. Yeah, you can have a fan film. It's all right. So do it. It's cool. But the as long as you don't make a profit, that was the whole thing. Don't make any money off of your fan film. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Brian Fuller leaving the show. I don't know for sure if that's what it is, but I'm willing to bet that some of it probably is. The studio. Well, I'm not going to bet money, but just saying because you can't. But I'm thinking the LGBT character freaked him out, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do this without making him stereotypical or something, or him or her, or whatever." It's like we just don't understand that whole thing. Either make him ridiculously flaming or not at all. No. The way to handle an LGBT character or a gay character or a bi character, is just make it not an issue. It's like Picard being bald or Spock having ears or something. It's like, it doesn't become an issue. He has a husband or she has a wife. It's like, that's it. It's not a big deal. It's the future. That's the way you do that. And, yes. But that's probably one of the things that did it. Fuller's got other shows on his plate, but that sounds like an insider thing. Yeah. Who's just saying I don't want to do that? I don't know if he did. I don't know if he told him to take a hike or what. Maybe the show idea just isn't as strong as they thought it was, which is why they're going on until May. Maybe they looked at that Chimera fan film and they're like, oh, we don't want to rip these guys off. Like Renegades, they didn't want to rip him off either. No, they didn't. but yeah, also the Starship Locations fan game is in production, but we'll see whether that has taken a bit longer, just because it's a fan game thing, and trying to make it fun. Like I said, it's more or less not really a game. It's more of a fan film live blog, because it's not really a game. You're not really playing a game. You're sort of like going in on the live blog and saying, okay, here's what we should do in this scene, that kind of thing. Yeah, what that is, and there is an LGBT character on that blog game. Yes, and it's no big deal. So there you go. But yeah, there's at least one, maybe two. Yeah, there's no official air date for that yet. So probably around the time Discovery, and it's not related to Discovery at all. So don't panic. We don't know anybody from Discovery, so I think Ryan Fuller's probably freaked out over the studio, or just too much stuff going on. But the two people they got to do under him are Voyager and DS9 and something else, so they ought to do all right. But Fuller's a bigger name, so yeah. So I think he'll be okay. It's not like, those names from back in the day when TNG started. Worley Torme and Susan Sackett and who there? Some of those other people. People knew who DC Fontana was. People knew who Roddenberry was. But Worley Torme, who's that? Mel Torme's offspring. Anyway, yeah, so they kind of didn't know. But, yeah, so some of those guys. William Marthese, that's the makeup guy. Doug Dexler? No. No. I didn't know him at all. I'm just saying that these are names that they put out there. So yeah, I would have been a little kid when TNG started. I would have been like 16. So, so yeah. yeah, 30 years, almost 30 years ago. The current star date, if they were going to do, if they want to know over there at Discovery, what's the current date? Should we just do 30 years after TNG? Well, it will be 30 years after TNG next October, so they can just say 2393 is this year, 2394 is next year, because that's when it could be. And maybe they should do that. Maybe they should just do 30 years after. That way they could have a cameo by old Picard, who shows up at 80 something and goes, "Oh, this is a good ship. Number one, I need some tea, Earl Grey hot." Yes. Yeah, so yeah, whatever they figure out with Discovery, I think the platform should be larger, and they should spend more on it, but I think they rushed it, and they just weren't ready, and that's my opinion, of course. I don't know specifically about that. I knew a little more about the Beyond and that production than I did about the movies, the TV show. Yeah, so I knew some about that. I also knew about, interestingly enough, the Star Wars sequels, a little bit from going around. But yeah, but I'm not telling you anything about Episode 8, so don't ask. Anyway, this is Kal Kat. Yeah, I'm not in Episode 8. I just know about as many rumors as you would. So yeah, this is not very many. Yeah, I was surprised when Han got killed. So yeah. Rambly thing, update on Fuller and other Chimera stuff. This channel is not gone. It's just been in hiatus. And Mark's Cards works all the time. So yeah, tonight would have been an episode, but I was like, my nose was running like it was at warp speed yesterday, and it was horrible. So yeah, not as much today. We'll be back. Chimera is coming back. Starship Chimera. And the game. Not sure what channel will be airing the game. Possibly the Chimera channel. We'll see. It'll be free. Yeah. So anyway, so that's my review on the Fuller thing and other stuff. Yeah. Cool.